Today is there is sunshine. It's not cold.
It's not cold, that's good.
Yes, habari ya Kigali.
Mimi siko Kigali lakini Kigali nzuri.
Uko Dar es Salaam.
Eh,
Kunanyesha sana pale.
siku moja moja zinanyesha lakini ni muda wa mvua.
Okay. Asante. Nice to see you.
Let's start with prayer.
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness Parliament for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention and deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interests you have committed to us. Amen.
Amen.
Item number 1 on the order paper, communication from the chair.
Good afternoon, honorable members.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So, good afternoon and welcome back to the plenary. I will make a few remarks in my communication.
Yes, we hear.
Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. So I will make a few remarks in my communication, but I have more remarks to make at the end. So a few of them in the beginning, and before we adjourn, I have more remarks to make that are also very, very important. First and foremost, Arusha is gradually opening up, which is the reason why we need to enhance our discussion on the possibility of resuming our physical meetings. Today, I have very important visitors who are just seated behind me in this small chamber, who came to visit me in my office, and we had a very good interaction this morning. So it is a group of EAC youth ambassadors who are here for their meeting, and those who are gracious in the room to say hi to us, their leaders. And I want to introduce them to you. We have Ms. Mafunda Haki, who is the EAC Youth Ambassador from Tanzania and the chair of the EAC Youth Ambassadors Platform. There is also Mr. Jean-Claude, EAC Youth Ambassador from Burundi. Mr. Elias Odhiambo, EAC Youth Ambassador from Kenya. Ms. Mbabazi Clemence, EAC Youth Ambassador from Rwanda. John Johannes Magok, EAC Youth Representative from the Republic of South Sudan. Mr. Segawa Ivan Sebastian, EAC Youth Ambassador from Uganda. Mr. Ivan Atuyambe, EAC ULEAD Director and host of the meeting. We also have Ms. Petraida Paul, who is the African Union Youth Advisory Council member, Office of the African Union Youth Envoy, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Have I forgotten to introduce her? Mr. Kamara Isaac from Tanzania. So we welcome you. The young people of West Africa. In the discussion I had with you, I insisted on the importance of you have a space around the table of integration, and we thank you for your efforts. A moment of indigency so I can sort out a technical problem, honorable members. So, honorable members, the technical team has a problem. The Hansard recording system is not working, and they are requesting for 10 minutes to fix them because we cannot have parliamentary proceedings without Hansard. So I will suspend proceedings for 10 minutes for this problem to be sorted out. House is suspended for 10 minutes.
Fancy.
Hey, my sister, how are you?
Nani wewe unamwongelesha kwa ishara?
proceedings.
So we are sorry for that technical challenge that we are facing. Now, because I think the Hansard missed my announcement, I have to redo it again. I had introduced please, can you mute your microphone? Thank you. So I was introducing the EAC youth ambassadors who are here for their meeting and whom I met this morning. The delegation is led by Mr. Kamala Dixon, EAC Youth Ambassador Emeritus, United Republic of Tanzania. There is also Ms. Mafunda Haki, EAC Youth Ambassador from Tanzania and the chair of the EAC Youth Ambassadors Platform. Mr. Jean-Claude, who is the EAC Youth Ambassador from Burundi. Jean-Claude who? Jean-Claude Mugisha. Mr. Elias Odhiambo, who is the EAC Youth Ambassador from Kenya. Ms. Mbabazi Clemens, EAC Youth Ambassador from Rwanda. Mr. John Yohannes Magok, EAC Youth Representative from the Republic of South Sudan. Mr. Segawa Ivan Sebastian, EAC Youth Ambassador from Uganda. Mr. Ivan Yatuyambe, EAC Youth ULEAD Director and host of the meeting. Ms. Petraida Paul, African Union Youth Advisory Council member, Office of the African Union Youth Envoy in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And Mr. Okay, thank you. So I welcome them to these proceedings. And on a special note, I wanted to recognize that Mr. John Yohannes Magok from South Sudan has just published a book, and he gave me a copy. So this is going to be my next immediate read, and when I finish, I will recommend that you get your own copies from Amazon. So Honorable Dr. Woda, who I know is here. Dr. Woda, are you around? Dr. Woda Jeremiah, who is also an academic and publishes a lot of books, I think has been very inspirational in South Sudan. I also wanted to recognize our own young members who belong to this group of the youth, but who are here with us as members of Eala. Honorable Kennedy Kalonzo, Honorable Jean-Claude Barimuyabo, Honorable Pamela Masai, Honorable Fancy. Who else thinks he's in that youth bracket? Honorable Fatuma Ibrahim. Dr. Magembe. So thank you very much. So I promise to these young people that we shall work with them to make sure we mainstream the involvement of young people in the whole agenda of EAC integration. And we shall try to revisit our earlier attempts to have a registration on how the young people can be better represented in our parliament and the other organs of the EAC. Honorable Jematia, I know you also belong to this group. Thank you. Let's proceed.
Item number 2 on the order paper, laying of papers.
Chairperson, Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources.
Right, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Chairperson, Committee of Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources, I beg to lay on table report of the Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources of the consideration of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable Lemoya.
Item number 3 on the order paper, the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019, second reading. By way of motion.
Chair, Council of Ministers.
That the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019 be read for the second time.
Seconder. So Honorable Dr. Wijema, Honorable Yani, Honorable Rutazana, Honorable Musamari, Honorable Gideon, Honorable Dr. Oburu Odinga, and all members whose hands are raised. Honorable Chair, Council of Ministers, proceed and justify your motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir. The objective of the bill is to provide for the Lake Basin Commission as an institution of the community. The bill is premised on the Chapter 19 of the Treaty of the Establishment of the East African Community, particularly Article 1104, under which the partner states agreed to cooperate in the management of their water and marine resources, and specifically to establish a body for the management of Lake Victoria. The Commission should be responsible for, among other duties, the coordination of the stakeholder participation in sustainable development of the natural resources of the Lake Victoria Basin, and the harmonization of policies, laws, regulations, and standards concerning the Lake Victoria Basin. The Commission, in pursuit of the above objectives, provide capacity building and institutional development within the basin, and facilitate and coordinate security, safety, and navigation of Lake Victoria. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the enactment of this bill, a number of benefits shall accrue to the region, namely, number one, the Commission shall have legal corporate identity, which means it can sue and be sued on its own name. Number two, the bill shall provide a basis for formulation of enforceable regulations and administrative instruments. Number three, it shall facilitate smooth mobilization of resources for the Commission's projects and programs. Number four, it shall make it easier for direct engagement and transaction with the partners and stakeholders. Number five, it shall give the Commission some powers in enforcement of certain provisions of if need arises. Number six, it shall strengthen implementation of other existing instruments such as the Victoria Transport Act 2007 and its regulations 2010, as well as the regional, municipal, and industrial affluent standards. The Speaker, sir, this bill is even more important considering that this basin holds up to 70 billion dollars in resources that are not tapped. And I guess, or I think this bill is going to help unleash these resources. I beg to submit, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Council of Ministers. Honorable members, when I mentioned the seconders, I mentioned the name of Honorable Musamali. I actually meant Honorable Ahe. Is he the one seated next to you, Honorable Gideon?
No, this is
It's Honorable Aburi Mpuru. Yes. Thank you. Now, Chair, Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources, please proceed and present a report.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
Proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of Chair, Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources, I beg to present the committee report on consideration of Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019. Starting on page 2, introduction. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019 was initiated and submitted to the Assembly by the Council of Ministers in accordance with paragraph 3B of Article 14 and Article 59 of the Treaty for the Establishment of East African Community, now known as the Treaty. The bill was read for the first time on 20th June 2019 and later referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources on 30th September 2019. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission, LVBC, is one of the specialized institutions of the East African Community established by the Council of Ministers in accordance with Article 33 of the Protocol of Sustainable Development Lake Victoria Basin 2003. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission is responsible for promotion of sustainable development in the Lake Victoria Basin. The broad functions of the LVBC are stipulated under Article 33 of the Protocol, and they are to promote, facilitate, and coordinate activities of different actors towards sustainable development and poverty eradication within the basin. Historical background of Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill. On 21st June 2007, the Council of Ministers introduced for the first reading before the East African Legislative Assembly the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2007. The bill was referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources.
Procedure.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I invoke Rule 12 because it's about quorum. It's because I've been observing a Uganda chapter. We only have one member, so I think it will be not right to proceed with this bill without full quorum.
Members from Uganda, introduce yourselves who are here. Members from Uganda who are here, can you introduce yourself?
Right Honorable Speaker, Mary Jenny.
Yes. Is there another member in the room?
Not yet, Right Honorable Speaker, from what I can see. Some members on the way.
Honorable Speaker, we proceed. I don't know who is making Honorable Christopher the watchdog for quorum.
He always does.
We have to be right. You know, this quorum issue has been always a problem. So let's be correct so that we cannot end up somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
So, why are you paralyzing our work?
Honorable Fatuma, let me handle this because it is a procedural issue.
Yes.
I understand where you are going. Maybe, depending on a matter on the table, a member needs to assess whether this is really the kind of an agenda that would seriously compromise on those who are not present, or people can just go on as we wait for those who are in precincts to walk into the room. You know, it's a case by case issue that a member needs to have a consideration. But when it is raised on record, it ties my possibility from managing it other than ascertaining quorum and deciding. So because we know that there is only one member from the Republic of Uganda, maybe we can suspend for 10 minutes and see if others will walk into the room or connect. Because it is already on record, I cannot ignore it. If it hadn't been raised, I think it. Yes.
Cannot suspend. Suspend quorum. Not yet.
So I'm spending the house for 10 minutes.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chris has appointed himself the roll call manager of the House. Did you assign him that responsibility?
But he's right as a member.
It is actually a member to raise the issue of quorum.
Right.
I assigned nobody. Excuse me, honorable members. I assigned nobody, but let me clarify this. One, is the issue of our rules, but at the same time, it's a matter for an individual member to assess whether it is really pertinent or not at a given time, given what we are discussing, and the nature of the item on the table, and whether those absent will be seriously prejudiced if the proceedings continued. So it depends on the wisdom of a member raising the issue. But when it is raised, there is no breach of rules. It is a rule matter. We have to comply. So 10
But
minutes.
the members should restrain themselves not to interrupt us.
It's a procedural matter, Mama Fatuma.
Honorable huyo mwana kona.
She left
Na ngoja.
Honorable members,
company name.
honorable members,
His company is not to
honorable members,
cover what?
Okay. All right, honorable members, order. Sergeant, tell me, do we have quorum now? Honorable members from the Republic of Uganda, can you introduce yourselves? Honorable Mary Mujenyi. Is there any other member? So it means we do not have a quorum yet because Honorable Mary Mujenyi is the only member from the Republic of Uganda present, and we are required by the rules to have at least 3 members from each part state. So before I formally adjourn, let me tell you, my dear colleagues, we have a lot of PR crises that we are trying to manage, a lot of them. So this really doesn't help our situation. It is sinking us deeper and deeper into a crisis we are already in. I don't know whether I need to explain much about that, but you know there is a lot of issues that we are trying to manage. We have been involved in this situation for some weeks now. We are not done yet. And this is not a situation that is helping us. It isn't helping us. So when I adjourn and you go home, please take time and reflect. And I said before, these proceedings are live streamed. The whole of East Africa can see what we are doing. The whole world, if there is anybody who has chosen to tune in, can see that this is a day wasted for no good reason. And tomorrow we shall be meeting the council to plead for more time for us to sit because we have a lot to do when we can't meet. Or when we can have a situation where we just waste a day for no good reason. That is 1. 2, please visit again Rule 4 of our rules for virtual meetings. Visit them again. Visit that provision. Rule 4 of our rules for virtual meetings. The rule about the venue. So we said in principle, the principal venue, the primary venue for these meetings, for as long as we are not able to convene physically, the primary venue is the premises of the respective EA ministries where we have our VC facilities. But in the event a member is not able, then he needs to communicate with me, with the speaker, for an exception to be granted. And when that is done, then in that process of seeking exception, you must arrange a venue that befits the premises of Parliament, the precincts of Parliament, because wherever you are sitting is the precincts of Parliament. I'm coming back to the fact that these proceedings are live streamed. I see you, and the whole world can see you, and where you are, and what you are doing. So please, I will tell you separately. I will tell you separately cases that I have seen, and request the members concerned to do their own self-introspection and see whether they never offended this assembly and offended the East African people in general. That I will talk to the individual members separately. So I adjourn the House until tomorrow.
Speaker.
I can see Musomali is there.
Then Musomali is just one person, so we have 2. We don't have 3 yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe we can call the
No,
forum.
because there is the issue of rules, and it says when I adjourn and I come back and there is no quorum, we suspend. If it hadn't been raised, you know, when I am sitting here, I can see all of you. So, but I never invoke that. But when it is invoked according to our rules, then I have to comply. Yes. So I